Hello and welcome to Chesapeake Weekly. Well, this week we start off with a reminder that an election is coming up. So on June 21st there's a Republican primary election. Now, yes, it is for Republican candidates only. They're the only ones on the ballot. But it doesn't matter what your party affiliation is. Anybody can vote in this election. So make sure that you do so. And if you're interested in voting now, before Election Day, early voting is available. Early voting is running now at the General Registrar's office, 411 Cedar Road. You can do that weekdays from 8 to 5, and the 2 Saturdays before Election Day from 9 to 5. And then again, all that is at the General Registrar's office on Cedar Road. Now, anyone can vote early. You do not need a reason. You don't need to apply. It is open for everyone. But the old standards are also still an option, being absentee ballot voting, election day voting, all still great options. Here's General Registrar Marilyn Pinkerman with more.
For early voting, you don't have to fill out an application like you used to. However, if you want to vote by mail, there is still an application, so we have the information of where you're registered and where to send the ballot, because some people are already out of town and need their ballot mailed somewhere else, college students, things like that. So you can either download the application from the Department of Elections website, or you can go online if you have a DMV driver's license or ID issued. You can go online and use the citizen portal and just do everything right online, and it'll come straight to our office and we'll get that ballot in the mail to you. You do still have to show an ID, but it doesn't have to be a photo ID. There's about 17 different IDs that we'll accept. The most common, of course, is the driver's license, the DMV issued ID card, but people can use an employee ID, they can use a college ID. There's just a whole list on the Department of Elections website if you don't have the more common IDs. We've seen a change in what Election Day does look like because so many people are choosing to vote early or vote by mail. So Election Day doesn't look nearly as busy as it used to. We still do encourage people to, stretch it out. Don't go bombarding them when they open the doors at 6 a.m., going around 10, 11 o'clock. Usually there's no line at all, and you just go in and show your ID and go cast your ballot.
Now, something to note about this election, there are actually new and changed precincts very slightly. There's an extra precinct that's been added. So some people have been shuffled around. Now, if you are affected by this precinct change, you've received a mailer to your house. You've been directly notified, but it's always a good idea to check the General Registrar's website before going to vote on Election Day. You can find your precinct, where you're supposed to go to vote. You can take a look at the sample ballot. All of that kind of information is at cityofchesapeake.net/vote. Well, Flag Day is celebrated this week, officially on June 14th every year. So, quick history lesson. Flag Day commemorates the adoption of the flag of the United States, and that was on June 14th, 1777. Now, of course, back then, there were fewer stripes on the flag, only 13, but, the meaning of it certainly remains the same. And of course, there's a lot of etiquette when it comes to flags, right? Keep it lit, don't let it touch the ground, that kind of thing. And of course, etiquette for proper disposal. So we went back into the archives and found this video where Chesapeake Television's Heath Covey went over some important flag etiquette.
When you're trying to display the American flag properly, there's 2 words that you really want to keep in mind: honor and respect. The flag of our nation is much more than just a piece of cloth. It is the symbol of all the ideals that we hold dear. It's earned the right to be honored and respected, and displaying it properly is really the least we can do. It's also very simple to display the flag correctly. The flag should be hung from a pole and allowed to blow freely in the breeze. The pole can be upright, or it can be on an angle, such as off the front of a porch or off of a tree even. The flag does need to be able to move in the breeze so you can see all the elements of the flag. It should be flown from dawn until dusk, unless you have a light source on it. In that case, you can fly it 24 hours, but it does need to be illuminated during darkness. Unless your flag is an all-weather model, it should be brought down during rain and properly stored. If the flag gets wet because you're a little late getting it down, that's okay. Just dry it out, store it away carefully, and redisplay it the next time it's appropriate. The flag can be flown on any day of the year, not just specific holidays. It's always appropriate to display your flag properly and to have it out for everyone to see. If your flag becomes soiled and it's a washable fabric, you are allowed to launder it. If it becomes torn or otherwise damaged, you do need to retire it. The easiest way to do that is to give the flag to either the Boy Scouts of America or one of the service organizations like the American Legion. They'll take it and give it a proper retirement in a ceremony that involves burning of the flag. If you have additional questions on the proper way to display a flag, particularly for things like on a stage, at a meeting, and those types of occasions, you can Google U.S. Flag Code for complete information. For Chesapeake Television, I'm Heath Covey.
Moving on now to the Chesapeake Forum. The Chesapeake Forum wrapped up its 2022 season with a very successful and very impressive last guest, the one and only Joan Lunden. Now, Lunden talked about a variety of things, from her career to her life, and then really how to balance the two. We got a quick summary of her speech ahead of time. Here's Joan Lunden.
It depends on what group I'm speaking to, but this is a speakers forum. So I'm going to talk to them about my career, kind of the behind the scenes, and all the important life lessons I've learned along the way. In order to stay motivated and keep life in balance and overcome challenges and changes, because that's what I was asked to speak about. Covering presidents, covering inaugurations, my many, many, many trips to the White House, and as well as, covering royal weddings and interviewing Prince Charles. And I'm going to be speaking about that here in Chesapeake, about having this opportunity to meet and speak with so many of the most remarkable people in the world. After a while, you begin to see traits that they all seem to have that help them to lead and succeed and overcome challenges even when the odds are against them. And they're just life lessons. We don't have to be a president or a business tycoon to make some of those life lessons. The idea of being able to remain resilient in the face of adversity, the idea of being open to opportunities, which are seldom labeled, but just being open to hearing them and be willing to take risks, because risk-taking is just kind of like in the DNA of the super successful. When somebody sees a risk, they see an opportunity. And that can be translated to our daily life. Having a successful life isn't just about, becoming famous or making money. It's about finding the balance in your life. And it's about making the time to tend to your wellness, because you can have all the money in the world, but if your health isn't there, it's not going to serve you well. So I'm going to kind of, go around a lot of the different things that I think we all need to keep in mind, all attainable.
The Chesapeake Forum has hosted some pretty impressive guests, from journalists to astronauts to educators, and we're really excited to see what's to come in their next year. So be sure to stay tuned in to the Chesapeake Forum to find out who they end up grabbing for next year's series. You can stay up to date with all of that by visiting their website, thechesapeakeforum.org, or by following them on Facebook. The city and the sheriff's office has always had a really great working relationship that ends up being mutually beneficial to both the inmates and really our city as a whole. You've probably heard of work crews who help clear ditches and kind of maintain city right-of-way. Well, recently, an innovative city employee found some old city furniture, and instead of just seeing trash, he envisioned an opportunity for inmates to learn some new skills and help save the city money.
Well, the state of the furniture was in very bad shape. We were very elated to hear that the jail would take on this project and renovate or revitalize the furniture to make it look a whole lot better.
It looked like something somebody would be finished with, but I thought, well, with a little refinishing, it could probably look new again. And the crew here has done a fantastic job. I mean, it just looks great.
With the help of our inmate labor crews and the workforce deputies, we're able to help them refurbish and save them some money.
With our small engine program of servicing and repairing equipment for the city, we have to sometimes wait on parts. And just on waiting on parts, we've taken over this project to help out the juvenile services area with the furnitures and just change it up to go ahead and refurbishing their furnitures and go ahead and fix it, stain it, sand it down, get it back to its original state.
Oh, I was very pleased. I went and got one of my co-workers and said, look, you got to come down and take a look and see how this furniture looks. It looks great. And we were very, very happy.
Well, we are certainly appreciative of the innovation and skill on both sides. Way to go, everyone. All right, a heads up about some city closures. So this Monday, June 20th, is Juneteenth, and that means that all city offices, courts, and community centers will be closed. The visitor center will be open from 10 to 4, and libraries will be closed on both Sunday and Monday. And of course, Juneteenth is a relatively new holiday when it comes to being celebrated nationally, but of course the holiday itself is not. Now, if you're still wondering just what Juneteenth is and what it means for us both locally and across the nation, we recently had a fantastic episode of Peak Life where Chesapeake Television's Mike Barnett spoke with the founder of the Chesapeake Juneteenth Foundation, Ernest Lowry. Here's a clip from that.
Before we get into the organization and the big celebration that you have coming up, let's talk a little bit about Juneteenth and what it means as far as it being a national holiday now. It's being recognized, and why it's so worthy for not only African Americans to celebrate Juneteenth, but America, because it's a nation holiday.
Right. Well, you hit the nail on the head. It is a national holiday that started last year through President Biden, and which is a great thing. Me personally, I was part of the organization and being associated with the National Juneteenth. We've been out scrambling for a bunch of years to try to make this a national holiday. We've done petitions and have people sign things and go and talking to our politicians, the whole 9 yards. Then it seemed like in the blink of an eye, it was settled just that quickly. Right. And I'm happy that it happened because it's worthy and it's something that we really need, because Juneteenth goes all the way back to 1865, which is in Galveston, Texas.
Okay. I tell you, I have to give a shout out to former Governor Ralph Northam, because in 2020, he made it a state holiday.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we were really progressive in that as far as Virginia. So let's get into a little bit about Juneteenth, 1865, Galveston, Texas.
Well, off the top, what I want to say, kind of just divert just a little bit and talk about Cuffy Town and the known and unknown soldiers that's right here in Chesapeake.
Oh, wow.
Now, Cuffy Town, they have the largest regiment of black Afro-American U.S. colored troops that was in Galveston, Texas. And so we have a lot of descendants from that area that live here. Oh, and also with Dr. E. Curtis Alexander, when he talks about the known and unknown soldiers that's in Bearville Mills. And matter of fact, he is a direct descendant of the U.S. colored troops in Galveston, Texas, because that's when it all started to make Juneteenth what it is today. It was the people from Cuffy Town. It was the people here in Chesapeake that had the largest amount of people that were there in Galveston to make all this possible. So 1863 or 1865 at that time, that's when it all started.
Oh, okay, great. Oh, man. So I know that you have a really big celebration coming up. And talk about that. Talk about the foundation itself.
Well, first of all, I started Juneteenth probably 2005. So I've been doing this over 15 years. Wow. I had a passion for it. I learned about it from a friend of mine, and I was very curious because it fit my profile, because I love working with the community. And so once I got a little understanding under my belt part, say what Juneteenth was all about, I kind of dug in a little bit. And so under the tutelage of, I guess I'll say, Ms. Sherry Bailey, I worked with her for about 5 years, and she had a great passion for Juneteenth as a whole. And then I decided to branch out on my own to spread the wings a little bit, and I thought that together we could do more being separated. So that's how it kind of got started. So with myself, I gypsy around, been in Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, Suffolk, Norfolk, Portsmouth, And we've had great times, all those times that we've done that. So that brings us up to now. But just last year, I got my 501c3, so my nonprofit, 501c3 for nonprofit organization. So, and I did that because being that it is a national holiday now, I have to stop nickeling down on myself. So, which just basically means that I want to get more people involved in what we're doing because it is a national holiday and it's for everybody, right? So all the things that we have been preaching all these years now have come to fruition.
The Chesapeake Juneteenth Foundation is hosting a fantastic event. It is called the Juneteenth Jazz Luncheon. That's on Saturday, June 18th at 1 p.m. at the Conference Center. It's gonna be a great afternoon with tons of education and entertainment, plus that delicious Chesapeake Conference Center food. Now, the foundation is also hosting a Father's Day celebration the next day, so it's really a full weekend of great activities to celebrate this important holiday. Learn more and get your tickets at ChesapeakeJuneteenth.com. And of course, you can watch the rest of that episode of Peak Life to learn more. Find it at youtube.com/Chesapeake Television. That's all we've got for this week. Thank you so much for watching. We leave you now with a look at what Parks and Rec has coming up. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.